Hey guys, we're back for episode 6 of Babble, and today we're going to be dabbling into a little bit of mental resilience, but we wanted to start this episode off with a few questions from you guys. So yesterday I put up a Q&A on my story, Babble's Instagram, and this morning Meg scrambled one together and we're going to be answering your questions. We kind of hope to do a few more of these in the future, and as the episodes progress, we might have more and more insightful things to share with you guys.
Is dabbling into grammatically correct?
Don't even care because I love the word dabble. So I want to start off with good things are happening. Oh my God, you take it.
I'll go first.
I'm tapping out.
Good things are always happening to me. The last 7 days I got to spend with our friend Jade, who came over from South Africa. And it's always fun getting to know someone from a completely different country from you. She taught me so many words. She taught me so much about her culture, and it was a lot of fun showing her new things. So,
And she competed at Zero Pro.
oh, and she competed at Zero Pro. And that was just really fun.
Yeah.
So fun things are always happening to me.
It did look like you guys had a good time. She is very lovely too, Jade, if you're listening. My good things are always happening to me is I had a bit of a rough start to the week with a few meetings and stuff that, didn't exactly go how I wanted them to go, and some unfortunate decisions I had to make. And I was just struggling on Monday to keep it all together. And I ran down to the coffee shop near my place because I was like, I need my third coffee of the day or I cannot function. And she gave me a free coffee and free coffee beans. And she didn't even know I was having a bad day. She was just like, take it. And I insisted on paying like 3 times and she kept refusing. And then I was like driving home and bawling my eyes out because I was like, oh my gosh, how are people so nice? And I was thinking, I can't complain to Meg or Declan about life being shit because like one bad thing happened, but one really nice thing happened. So it's like, it's balanced out. Everything's good. So that's
the I think it's like the kettle theory.
No.
Where it's like every good thing leads to a bad thing, every bad thing leads to a good thing, and so it's basically accepting everything passes, or like this too shall pass.
What is that in relation to a kettle?
I can't remember. I might have to Google it for you. But it's the equivalent to the burnt toast theory, where if you burn your toast before rushing out to work and have to do a new piece of toast, perhaps that saved you from getting into an accident or protects you from something else.
I mean, I'll cop more bad news for coffee, that's for sure. I wish I could remember the name of the cafe to shout them out, but I don't.
Just say the next one, like next time.
I will find out and I will let you guys know.
So some questions, then a sprinkle of mental resilience.
Yes.
Dabble.
Yes. Dabble on Babble. Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm not going to pronounce the names that I can't pronounce, and it's only because they're not real words. They're not people's names from other areas. We have Jamie Lee Macklin said, best fruits for bulking, please.
More of what you enjoy eating.
Yeah, this is true.
That would be the easiest one. A lot of liquids.
Liquid calories. I like eating higher fat because it's obviously more calorically dense. And I find it easier to just chuck into things.
Yeah. Some people don't. Like I have a couple of friends, like someone that comes to mind is Michael.
It's really the like gold standard example.
He struggles with fats and it actually upsets his stomach a little bit. So he'll eat, if he is trying to put on size, he'll really have to go hard on carbs. And he has like a primarily whole food diet, so it can be hard for a male.
That's like Declan as well. He doesn't like eating high fats. I find most of my like female clients love chucking on some more peanut butter or avocado. What else? More foods you love, honestly.
What foods you love?
If you're focusing on a macro split, obviously within your macros, but if you're just focusing on calories and protein, more of what you love is definitely the best piece of advice.
Yeah. And just whatever makes sense for you. Like if I'll just ask you directly, would it make more sense for you to bulk up the meals you already have? Like say there's already rice, pasta, bread present. Does it make more sense to add more of that? Or because you get full quickly, does it make more sense to try and disperse 2 extra snacks throughout the day? Or if you're time poor and you don't want to do that because you can't get away from your desk, does it make more sense to just drink a whole bunch of stuff in the morning before you start your day?
And meal prep. One of my clients, Kim, if you're listening, hello, she is about to invest in, I forget the name of the meal company, but the prepackaged meals because they have bulking options. And she's on a university placement and such an easy, quick way to hit your bulking calories.
Is this the dragon boat person?
No, that's the other Kim. I have a few Kims, guys. It gets confusing in the calendar sometimes. Okay, number 2, this is Trixie. So this is Cal Raston's client who used to train at Height and now trains at the gym in Kingscliff. Do you remember Trixie? She's competed a few times. Training through different stages of your menstrual cycle and how that can affect strength.
I have some clients who feel unaffected.
Yeah.
And then I've got people like myself who feel mega affected.
It definitely depends on the person. And personally for me, like I'm super strong the week of my period, but the week before I just feel like I couldn't even lift like 50% of my 1RM. That's a bit of an exaggeration. But yeah, like the week before wrecks me. I try and hit my numbers because I don't suffer a very bad period and I can get away with pushing it when I'm in a lot of pain or et cetera, et cetera. But I think it really depends on the person. I have clients who have such bad endo and PCOS that they have to take the week of their period off.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the person.
I'm guessing because Trixie powerlifts, so I might just think of it from her perspective.
Yeah.
And we sometimes have numbers to hit or that are outlined for us, and it's a little bit different to some other programs that people may follow. But I believe that you don't need much in a given week to get stronger. So if there is one week where you just purely cannot hit your top sets, I don't actually think it's going to affect your strength the following week or the week after, unless you allow it to compound. I think you can get away with not hitting your top sets every now and then. If it's beyond that and it's like crippling symptoms, that's quite hard. I would almost maybe adjust programming, just suit the cycle. And if it's unpredictable, which I know a lot of people experience too, which freaking sucks, maybe perhaps there has to be like an RPE scale.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It really does. I think it's really great if your coach understands, because then you can work with your coach to kind of like navigate it. But it would be hard if your coach just didn't understand it all, especially in a powerlifting setting where you do have to hit numbers, you are competing for a certain day.
Yeah.
Like getting your period in the middle of prep sucks. And I historically get my period every comp day, so can relate. I'm just lucky that it makes me like extra strong for some reason. Any more, or should I go on to the next question?
Give me another question.
Okay, so I can't pronounce this name, sorry guys. But TikTok or Instagram for online coaching businesses, and why?
Would you say it's personal, or would it be a bit more savvy to say TikTok?
I have like a long-winded response for this.
Okay, then I'll go first. I don't think my response is going to be nearly as long-winded. I think it depends on where you connect with your audience better, and I would just lean into that.
That's a good answer. For whoever is listening, I find personally TikTok is more volatile, and so I will generate way more leads from TikTok. So TikTok blows up, I will have like heaps of leads in my coaching inbox the next day to sort through, and they might not know me as well as like my Instagram followers and stuff because they follow along my journey every day. But I do find that a mix of both is really, really good, especially if you're selling like passive products, because every time a TikTok video blows up, which is a lot more like volatile and likely on that platform, you might have like 100 people buy a product, whereas Instagram is just a little bit more slow. However, I think establishing a really good presence on Instagram is important because there's a lot more trust associated with that platform, and it does take a lot more time to grow. But I like both, and I do have like quite an established TikTok and I guess establishing Instagram, so I like a little bit of a mix. But like Meg said, whatever works for you is most important.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going on to the Babble Instagram to grab a few more questions from you guys.
Can I read some of them?
Yeah.
How about we do like you get to answer it in one sentence as succinctly as you can.
Okay. Yeah, speed round. Let's go.
Okay. You do one and I'll do one.
Okay.
Most important things to do in the gym if you're time poor.
The first lifts in your program that are compounds, the first couple in the session are the most important for the muscles that you want to grow or the lifts you want to get stronger at.
Actually, I agree with that. Thank you.
Australians' view on Americans.
I don't know about others, but love them. I love America. I was there earlier this year.
Please, Trump, I love America.
No. But what are Australians generally? I saw a TikTok the other day, and a Canadian was talking about how there's some global idea that Australians are dumb. And I was like,
Whoa.
wait, people think that about us? That was new to me.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
There you go. Your turn.
Okay. Red flags to look out for when consuming fitness content.
Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, rapid fire round. Lack of qualifications. Very like black and white statements like don't do this, do this. Using fear as a way to get you to purchase a program, work with a coach, etc., etc. Any marketing that comes from a place of fear, in my personal opinion, is manipulating the audience to sell a product. And I don't think that it's fair to use like people's fears and insecurities and stuff to turn them into a sale. And I see it all the time.
You do dislike that a lot.
Oh, I hate it so much. It's preying on the vulnerable. And then, I can't say it succinctly, but just TikTok content that's like trendy isn't always actually like, if it's a trending like this one exercise grew my glutes, just skip.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Okay. How to pick a coach?
Pick
someone.
us. Ooh, oh my god, I could answer this in so many ways. Pick someone that practices what they preach. Pick someone that resonates with you. Pick someone that you like the look of the way that they train or the way they approach nutrition, because you're not going to come to someone like me and experience like a militant, you have to hit your calories. You're just not going to get it. And I'm not saying that that's an incorrect way to coach. You're just going to have to find it elsewhere. So pick someone that resonates with you.
Someone who knows what they're talking about as well.
Oh, yeah.
What was the other? Do you remember we had another question about creepy men?
Oh, yes. Lem requested us to explain how we deal with receiving creepy messages or followers. Creepy, I guess, being like a bit of a fluid word. What does that mean?
Over-sexualizing us.
Over-sexualizing us.
Yeah.
This was going to be my good things are happening to me earlier.
Okay.
Let me explain. I was going to say,
Yep, she loves Americans.
I'm so grateful that like good and bad comments that I receive don't impact me. So
Yeah.
this falls into the same camp. It doesn't impact me, but I wouldn't say that's always been the case. I'd say that early on in the piece, it impacted me deeply. I'd like look it up, screenshot it, speculate, be like, who is this? How can I find them out? Should I report them to the police? Like,
Oh yeah, like so long ago.
what do you mean?
Carry on.
And so I guess I deal with them by not dealing with them is my answer.
I actually have a different opinion. I feel like it upsets me a lot. Not like hate, but creepy men really brings me down. And I talk to you about this all the time because my message is so like for the girls and I guess for the men who care about fitness and stuff. And I feel like because I look the way I look or we look the way we look, sometimes you have a great message and you really want to share it with females and then the algorithm picks it up and gives it to all the men it can find because we're getting over-sexualized all the time. And I feel like there's a big amount of that online. And it's gotten to the point where sometimes I'm like, I really want to share this message. And I literally dress in like a robe or something. So it doesn't go to the wrong people. Like, yeah, it gets me down a lot, Lem. And I always think about how I can do things better to speak to the people I want to speak to. And I think that accepting that we live in a world where as fitness creators, it is going to go to both men and women. You just have to kind of learn how to ignore it.
I guess the final thing I'll add to that is that the mindset I've adopted in the last few years when it comes to acquiring clients or maybe reaching more people has it almost gets smaller as each year goes past. I start telling myself I'm purely speaking to my list of clients and my app subscribers and a handful more people, and that's it. Like those are the only people I'm speaking to. I'm not like writing a post and thinking, how is this going to convert more people, and it's really helped me stay true to myself and keep bringing myself back to, I mentioned this in the last podcast, imagine how you conduct yourself if you lived on an isolated farm and everything was true to your values. And so that's why I guess slowly over time it's impacted me less and less, even though probably realistically I get more hate nowadays.
I guess, yeah, I think it affects me so much because it's probably a trigger of mine, because I feel like ever since I put on weight, I was getting sexualized. So I probably take it a little bit more personally than someone who has kind of like dealt with the trigger and moved past it.
I just thought of one more thing. Sorry, I swear we'll move on.
Sorry,
you know,
guys.
Ben Carpenter, the male fitness coach,
Oh, has he come to Zero?
he's British.
Oh, yes, I love
I think he's
Zeros.
married to Sohee.
Yeah.
He once talked about how it pisses him off that the message he has to share is going to get listened to more than his sister, who had dealt with like a real obesity and like really struggled with her weight loss, when she was actually a much better spokesperson for the topic.
Yeah.
But because he's lean and he's fit, people will listen to him. But he was talking about it in a way such as, but that means I just have to do my job better for people like my sister.
So I'm lost.
So
Are we the sister or are we Ben?
You're Ben. I'm saying, I'm saying that just trust that you're going to reach the people you want to, even if there are things that annoy you about the circumstances, like the fact that I want to.
Oh, and
Does that make sense?
off the bat of this, we'll promise we'll move on after. I was so sad about it the other day, and I was like, I just wish there was a feature on Instagram where you could stop men from viewing your things. I was really down in the dumps, guys. And then I was like, but so many of my closest friends are men, and like we have like both of our partners obviously men. I don't know why I had to say that, but like we have so many guys in our life who actually uplift us and view us as people and not just like sexual objects. And as much as like I would want to filter out the men on a mass sense, I'm so grateful for all the people in my life who are male and who actually genuinely support me. And it's like you really just have to focus on the good and block out the bad, similar to hate comments. But I'd love to know if anyone else experiences this too. Shall we get into the mindset?
Yes. So what was the topic? Building mental resilience?
Yeah, and discipline.
Building mental resilience and discipline. I guess should we make it a bit more gym centric? Like building mental resilience in the gym?
Yeah, I don't have much mental resilience, I'll swear.
I beg to differ. I think it's relative as well.
You see the good in me.
So mental resilience, this might come across as a bit negative, but I think that all of the bad shit that's happened to me is pretty much all of the ingredients that help me build mental resilience.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think that's bad.
Okay.
I think I think you should go through life never regretting anything that has happened, even if it's like horrible. It brought you to exactly where you are today. And I've always lived my life in that regard.
Okay.
I remember, this is so dark. I don't know if I want to talk about it, but we can always cut it out if we're like,
Can you do it like vaguely? Can you just give us like the main points?
Okay, so back in the day when I was in high school, I had a friend and she shared this quote on her story, and it was just what I said. Like, it was like, every bad thing in your life that has brought you to where you are today, like, you shouldn't regret. It was kind of that sentiment. And there were these like mean girls in my high school who thought they were God's gift. And I remember them coming for this girl and basically saying like, I've had awful things in my life happen to me. Like, I've been like...
Oh, the mean girls?
Yeah, and like, yeah, they were pretty mean to this girl. And they basically had been essayed in the past, and they were like, I would change that if I could. I would take it back, and like coming for her saying she was stupid, and it was really horrible. And I remember thinking, oh, this is so sensitive, such a sensitive topic. Horrible things like that do happen. And like you do, like for someone in that circumstance, like all they would want is to take it back. And I totally understand that perspective of things. And I think for everyone, it is so personal. And for me personally, I've been through horrible things, and I wouldn't take a single one of them back, because I would be different to who I am now, as a person, as a friend. I probably wouldn't have the same like brain that I do. And I think I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself, but it's such like a personal.
It sounds like that girl was just speaking for herself. She wasn't saying you have to agree with me. If it was me, I would be trying to make light of or learn to accept things that have happened.
Yeah, I think she was trying to say you can't change the past, all you can change is like the now. And people are going to hate. Like,
No matter how you
some people are just hateful, and what happened to them was horrible. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't regret that or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Like, sometimes you really just have to like stay in your own lane and focus on yourself and not kind of tear other people down.
One thing that Dana and I are outspoken about and connect on is for Dana, eating disorder, and for myself, disordered eating habits. And I guess, how do I get into this? Let me start from the top. Okay. Dana and I are quite outspoken about our eating disorders in the past and what it felt like. But I guess we don't talk too much about how that stuff helped us build like a bit of build a skill set that would help us connect with our clients today. And I think that's mental resilience, because there is in mental resilience, there's understanding, there's empathy, there's like true understanding. Not saying I get it, that sounds like it sucks, but genuinely understanding what a person's going through, which is priceless and not something you can kind of ask for. Like, you can't like do a course to understand something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that is such a good point. I remember we did a module on eating disorders at university, and I was thinking how so many professionals that work with people with eating disorders can't connect to the person.
Yeah.
And I remember I had this one dietitian, and she was actually the one that broke through to me about recovering, and she did so because she had anorexia, and she spoke to me like as a person and like really connected with how I was feeling, and then helped me like break out of it.
My experience with a therapist who specialized in eating disorders was like the opposite. I was explaining to her about how shit I felt about myself, and I think I've told you this, like she was laughing like,
Are you serious?
yeah, she was like, why do you feel shit about yourself? And I remember thinking she clearly doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But then my next few experiences were really good.
I remember a similar thing happening when I was getting diagnosed, and the first doctor I saw was really horrible to me about it, and kind of the same light. And then the next one I saw was like, oh no, like we need to get you like help ASAP. But yeah, I think I am really grateful for everything I've been through, because I've helped so many people. And I guess it's hard to say, because obviously some people lose their life from eating disorders, and it's like their families would do anything to have them back, and they would do anything to take back what happened. But we are in a place where we were lucky that we recovered, and we can help people now.
Yes.
So it really does depend on the person.
In maybe a subject that more people can relate to, I guess there's probably been opportunities work-wise for us in the past that we might have missed or felt like we missed out on, but probably led to something even better. So like just random thoughts, like wanting to work with a certain brand but then getting a better opportunity, or wanting this role at this place but then ending up like finding something that was far more suited to you down the line. Thinking you wanted to be with a certain person and then being like, oh no, the universe was trying to send me to this person.
That is so true. Hey.
So I think when you can have hindsight or look at things like that and realize I needed to feel that discomfort so that I could get this good thing, I think that helps build mental resilience.
I think as well, like, I think we've kind of touched on this, but we're literally the product of every good and bad thing that has ever happened to us. And I really love the way that I perceive things, and I love the friends that I have in my life and the way that I show up for them in my life. And I like wholeheartedly believe that every good and bad thing has made me that person. And I wouldn't want to be a different person, and I wouldn't want to have different views or a different like I guess connection with my friends, because I didn't want to go through something that I went through as a child or as an adult even. Mm-hmm. And like I've lost so many friends going through different things in my life, and as much as that sucks and I could be upset about that, like I have so many amazing friends, and it's like you really can't live in the past. You really just have to focus on where you want to be in the future.
I want to talk about friendship loss in one of the episodes sometime soon.
We can touch on it now.
No, I reckon we should save it.
For a whole episode?
Oh, well, I mean, how does this intertwine with mental resilience unless we really like expand on it?
Yeah, the poor viewers.
They're not going to be able to keep up. Can we bring it back to the gym? Building mental resilience around gym. What for you have been like some of the big things that like maybe once you didn't think you could do and now you can do in the gym?
gain weight. That was a massive one for me. I gained so much weight and I thought the world would end if my scale weight went up. And now I don't even care.
So what did it take to be able to get there?
Powerlifting like helped because exposure therapy. Like I had to weigh myself. I had to be a weight class. This is going to sound so materialistic and like vain, but I really wanted to grow my glutes. And I was just like, if I want to grow my glutes, I have to eat food. I have to be in a surplus. I have to gain weight. I was like, I literally cannot achieve this goal if I don't give up wanting to stick to my weight, whatever it was back then. Like I have to eat. And so that was it. That's all it took was growing the glutes.
Yeah.
What about you?
Probably like learning to love training. For the first 4 or 5 years, I didn't love it. I was like making myself go. And if you asked me then why I was doing that, I wouldn't have been able to answer you. Now I can look back and say I probably wanted to prove myself that I could stick to something for years on end and show up to it and do it 5 times a week and then just like turn it into such a habit that it's like brushing my teeth. I don't know what I was trying to prove to myself. But I did not like the gym in the beginning.
I feel like that's relatable. Like most people don't like the gym. I remember back in the day when I did my PT course, they said at the end of the course, they were like 5% of people or something love this, or it was a really small number. And they were like, you're going to be working with people who don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I don't get it. Like, I can't relate to you at all because I have always loved training and being active. But I think that there would be a large amount of people listening to this who probably can relate to that.
And feel a bit isolated or alienated, about like the fact that other people around them seem to just live and breathe fitness, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah, throwing it back to Zali, I remember her saying to me she hated training when she first started. She absolutely hated it, and now she's in a place where she loves it and it's a part of her routine. And I've had so many clients say the exact same thing, and that they stick out that like yucky 1 to 3 months at the start and they do it because they're forcing themselves to, and then they like start to love it. And I think that's so true for a lot of people.
Yes, it's the rewarding part of gym is like doing an uncomfortable hard thing and then seeing the stuff that it yields.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing because that doesn't stop, because once you hit XYZ kg on bench, then it becomes 10 kilos more, and so you have to keep doing a hard thing. And I feel more uncomfortable not doing hard things and training to like RPE 7, feeling quite stagnant. That to me is much more uncomfortable than doing that kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. In so many regards. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that fitness is a journey and a lifestyle. It's not like a quick like goal. Like it's not like I'm going to achieve fit in 6 months. It's like if you kind of love it, it becomes the rest of your life, really.
It's a bit off tangent, but sometimes I wonder if it feels a bit alienating for people who truly don't want to have their gym girl journey, but a lot of people our age are really embracing it. Or that, or Pilates. Like I feel like those are quite prominent online. Maybe run club.
Yeah.
And for someone who maybe doesn't like any of those kind of sports or ways to move your body, it must feel like, why am I not into it?
I can actually understand, because like I wanted to do cardio for so long for my health, not because I enjoy it. And I find that really hard to be motivated towards. So I kind of get it. And there are so many forms of cardio I just have tried and hated, and I haven't really found the one I love except for Stairmaster randomly. So yeah, I can kind of relate.
Okay.
Also, on another note, my new 9060s are black.
Uh-oh. Why?
I don't know. So sad. If you guys have any recommendations on how to clean them, please let me know.
Oh, I don't know actually. Okay, so I want to share like one story. I share a lot, so I'm sorry if you're hearing this for the nth time. The 17th time. I've shared it a few times, but one of my most life-altering moments, which I think has made a big difference to my confidence today as a woman, and also directly contributed to my mental resilience, was a time when I lost a job opportunity I really, really thought I wanted. I wanted it more than anything, and it didn't work out. And at the time, it was the worst feeling, because it kind of ignites every bad thought I guess I thought about myself, that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough for this job. And it ended up making me who I am today, which is more confident, more outspoken in my beliefs, more interested in helping other people. And it was actually one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, losing that job opportunity. So I wanted to share that in case anyone finds themselves in a similar position or has found themselves in a similar position in the past.
Should we touch on discipline as well?
Why not?
Yeah.
Discipline in what? Like in training?
Yeah, I think that would be the context.
I feel out of touch sometimes talking about this
How come?
because I don't have to practice discipline to train.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
I
I'm
agree.
like,
What about dieting? Do you ever have to discipline yourself?
Oh, dieting maybe is a better one for us to talk about because
For you?
well, for me, I'm very fixed in my my stance about when someone should be able to diet or whether they've earned the right to diet or not. And I don't allow myself to diet unless I hit like a certain number of categories. I have to be like, yes, I can commit to this without compromising on my values. Yes, I can commit to this and acknowledge that if negative thoughts pop up, then I cease the diet. Yes, I can commit to this without allowing might not be the right word, but allowing my body image to be impacted. So for example, become leaner means feel better about myself. I don't even want that to happen. I like to keep as neutral of a stance as I can for something that can't really be neutral because there's a lot of emotion tied to dieting.
To dying?
To dieting. To dieting. But discipline-wise, it's... I think I'm not as disciplined in nutrition as I am in training.
Yeah, definitely not.
I'm not. I'm just not. I think,
But you love training. Like,
yeah.
who loves dieting? Let's be real.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that if somebody wants to use like their diet as a way to showcase their discipline, that's amazing. It's not for me though. I like to showcase discipline in how I show up for my friends and my partner and my training. But discipline and nutrition for me has taken a bit of a backseat.
So then how would you talk to someone who needs the discipline and they're like, I really want to lose weight. I really want to do this. Or you got nothing.
I got nothing because usually I ask why. Like, why do you want to if you are perfectly healthy and you look amazing?
What about for someone who needs to lose weight?
If it's someone who genuinely needs to, like their doctor has advised it, I will put on a different hat and I would talk very differently.
Give us the hat.
I just...
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe I'll...
It's hard. I still do nutrition with my clients, but it's very different.
You are very nice. Like, you're very, like, lenient. I feel like... Oh, if you talk to someone like Declan about this, it's, like, total opposite. Like, army hat is on.
Yeah.
I think I'm, like, kind of on the middle camp where, like, if you want something bad enough, you're going to achieve it. Like, you're going to do everything you can to achieve that goal. And sometimes that means saying no to things, doing the hard things, like sitting in feelings of being uncomfortable, but you have to think about how badly you want something and do everything you can to get yourself there. And I think in terms of discipline, if you're struggling to stick to a diet or you're struggling to get to the gym, you need to create consistent habits that make those things easier to do, i.e. like if you're struggling to hit your calories, eat high volume food so you're not as hungry, and then you're fixing like one part of why you're struggling with discipline because your appetite's not as strong. Or if you're struggling to go to the gym, make it as easy as possible for you to get there. Like have a coach, follow a program, kind of like make these goals more achievable. And then as they become stronger habits, you will have more discipline because it becomes a part of your life. But it's just like a matter of just doing the thing that's hard. Like Nike always says, just do it.
It's funny that you say that actually, because I just thought to myself, someone who's in a position to practice discipline probably already decided that before they started tracking the calories. Like, so as an example, someone who's like, I really want to shred in the next 8 weeks, but then they kind of stop and start, like they do it for 2 days and they struggle. So their position going in probably wasn't the discipline hat. But then there'll be someone who's already on autopilot before day one. And that's what it just looks like that. It's just autopilot and they just do it.
I think if we're speaking to the people though that struggle with discipline, you need to figure out why. Like you need to figure out
that's what I was getting at.
Why you want the goal. Like I always ask people like, what about yourself now do you want to change, and what would it mean to you if in 3 or 6 months time you are that person that you really want to be, whether it's mental, physical, anything like that. And you really have to understand and resonate with that person that you want to be so strongly that you're going to do the hard thing every day to get yourself there. I feel like Hormozy is a good one to listen to about this kind of stuff, because he always says it. He's like something along the lines of like, have a working life through your 20s and enjoy your 30s, or enjoy your 20s and then like, I don't know, join the rat race, something like that. Like, yeah.
The why that you just described is very important to know.
Yeah.
If you have a really high quality why, you're going to see so much more success than a low quality why, which I'll just throw one under the bus, being like, I want to look thin or something.
Okay.
That's low quality.
No, well, hear me out. Maybe that part of the why is low quality, but what does being thin mean? Does it mean that you're more confident? Does it mean that, like, you know what I mean? You're proud of yourself for achieving a goal. Like, you kind of have to, because maybe people might only think of the low quality whys. They might not have that like deeper level of thinking about it. They kind of have to keep asking themselves, well, like, what does that mean to you? And then you get to like when I was in high school, like everyone said I was fat and now I want to lose weight. Like, you really have to tap into those emotions to hold yourself accountable and like throw yourself at your goals. Some people are going to be a lot better at this than other people. Like, for instance, someone like Thomas, I can see him probably just doing whatever it takes to get there without needing much motivation. But for like people who are a little bit more normal, it might take a little, in a good way, I'm jealous of his brain. Or like for me, like think about the way I attack nutrition. Like, I don't care. Like, I will literally eat chicken and rice and vegetables like every meal of the day, but I can understand that my clients wouldn't do that. Like, I will eat to hit my goals, and I do not care about like, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I wouldn't miss foods as much as you trying to hit a nutrition goal. Sure. And that's just because my brain's a little bit different to yours.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously everyone's going to have their difficult thing.
Yeah. I'm speaking for people who don't, who aren't struggling with anything that's might require like more immediate attention. Like, if your mental health struggles to the point where it's debilitating, this isn't advice to be taken. Like, that's what you should address first and uncover the why, and not worry about being thin enough. It's more just like more general population.
I'm a little bit lost now.
If you drive to work and you're thinking about how much you weigh and you really want to lose weight, but you struggle with yo-yo dieting, this advice is not for you. And like, we're not saying harden up and be more disciplined.
Yeah.
It's more for people perhaps who just want to be better at goal setting and like prove some points to themselves, but it's not because it's driven by like, I'm not good enough because I'm not thin.
Yeah.
It's more like, yeah, I would like to lose some weight.
Yeah. I guess that's hard, because what about the people who, like, I feel like when you're in that mindset, you're not aware. Like, there's people might listen to this and think that they're the people who just have a goal.
I think some people aren't aware until they might even hear something like this and be like, wait, it's not normal to like be thinking about my body weight all day long.
Oh my gosh, I can relate to this so hard, because for years that was my normal, and I thought everyone thought that, and I didn't realize that that was abnormal. So yeah, definitely. Like, if you're thinking about food or your body image, like 70% of the day, like you should see a therapist.
It's not normal, but it's normal, because it's like a hidden disease where so many women and men experience it.
Yeah.
We're not really talking about it. There's some shame attached to it sometimes.
Yeah. And especially culturally. Like, I know it depends on your culture, like how you experience it.
It's normal and it's not.
I feel like from like me, like a Greek culture, it's shameful to have problems with food and stuff like that. And I guess you can probably speak on like a Japanese, Chinese background, but what I hear from my clients of that ethnic group, is that the right word?
Ethnicity?
Cultural background? Yeah, that kind of culture is more like you're pushed to be skinny and you're pushed to be small, and small is good. Whereas like my family and that kind of thing is more like they don't really care, but you can't have an issue. Like, having an issue is shameful.
Wow.
Yeah, so like growing up, my eating disorder was like hidden under the rugs. Like, it wasn't talked about.
That's really interesting. I feel like in a lot of Asian cultures, it's not an issue to have issues, but you do sweep it under the rug and normalize it and don't address it, but for different reasons. Yeah, it's like, let's keep feeding the strange eating
like, small is good.
Yeah.
I remember
let's enable it.
Back in the day, I think it was the second time I went to Japan. I was on this train and I overheard these girls saying that they were standing up on this like 2-hour train ride because they would burn more calories than if they sat. And I remember thinking like, oh my God.
You understand Japanese?
Back then, back in the day, yes, I used to speak Japanese quite well. Thank you very much. I can't say much now except for where's the toilet. Anything else you want to add?
I think we've covered quite a bit, but I wouldn't mind talking about it again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Give the people what they want.
Thank you for trying to keep up with our brains. We're like, yeah, no.
We'll be back for episode 7 of Babble.
Bye.